After doing both of my last few videos on this channel, dinosaurs as demons and Pokemon if they were in Dungeons & Dragons, I was fairly confident that each of those were going to end up getting sequels. Then after I got to watch the first few episodes of Prehistoric Planet this week, I was that much more inspired to jump into another dinosaur themed episode right away. Plus I got lots of really great suggestions in the comment sections of the last Dinosaur Demons episode for what other dinosaurs I could turn into demons. So we're getting right back into another round of that today. Let's see if we can make it even better than the first. Let's hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like, but either way, enjoy the show. Humans are allegedly born with only two inherent fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. But along the journey of life, most of us will pick up anxieties around various other beings, creatures, or aspects of life. Sometimes these can be fairly rational, but others, at a glance, can seem outright silly. The fear of dinosaurs, for instance, known as dinophobia, seems completely illogical for someone living in the modern day. Except to those who know what creatures of the night are truly lurking out in the world. The demon Sorieclis used to hunt down people with a fear of dinosaurs, as it was the flavor of fear it most craved. But when it realized how rare of a fear this actually was, it decided that if more people weren't naturally afraid of prehistoric beasts, it would have to find more clever ways to induce this fear. It began creating demons of its own, modern-day monstrous representations of long-dead beasts that now hunt down anyone they can, terrify them, then feed on them, in turn feeding the dark master that bore them. One of the largest of Sorieclis' creations is Mosasaur, the sea demon. At night, it will lurk along the coasts of beach towns, waiting for groups of swimmers to come out for a late dip. When they're far enough into the depths for it to swim under them, the demon can shift the tides above to draw the group farther out to sea. While doing this, it will have its body totally darkened so they can't yet see the beast below, allowing the fear of being lost at sea to stir the initial terror. But once it has the swimmers far enough from land to give them just the slightest hope that they may swim back, it will light up. Orange bumps will illuminate along its back, and vibrant orange muscly segments will peel open along its side, revealing itself to its prey above as it moves in a wide circle around them. It will let the tide rest so they can try to swim back, but at this point, hope is lost. For most of them. Mosasaur will lightly bite into the heel of the swimmer at the back of the pack, letting them call out for help before pulling them under. It will do this again and again, each morsel more fear-drenched than the last, until only one swimmer remains. Then, it will let them escape. The scent of fear exuded by this survivor will often be so pungent, Mosasaur will be able to smell them no matter how far inland they go. Then, it will simply wait, yearning for the day they eventually attempt to overcome their fear of returning to the waters. Sworn to by others in their life that what they experienced would certainly never happen again. It is a gamble on this demon's part, but if they eventually do return to the ocean, Mosasaur will be there, ready to rekindle their terror and devour their long-marinated prey. Now I've got to say, I think this might be the coolest creature head I've ever designed, which is a big thing to say because I've designed a ton of creatures on this channel, and the part I usually focus most on is the head. But I just think this turned out really cool, and funny enough, I actually think I probably could have implemented a little bit more of a Mosasaur look, since that's the dinosaur I was adapting. Probably could have narrowed the snout a little bit more. But regardless, I still think this turned out really awesome. Whenever I'm going into a demon drawing, I feel like one of the most important things is to have a good concept in mind for what I'm going to do. And with this one, the thing I knew I wanted to focus on most was the head and making it really monstrous, because mosasaurs are kind of just like reptilian sharks with crocodile-ish faces. So I knew the face/head and jaw was the thing I wanted to focus on most, and the first thing to come to mind was to do the double-hinged lower jaw that I've done lots of times before with my Shin Godzilla dragon and even with one of the dinosaurs in the previous episode in this series. So I thought, okay, what's a different kind of cool head I could try? And the next thing to come to mind was the Slifer the Sky Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! Sort of head, one of the Egyptian gods that has a stacked double mouth. I'd never drawn one of those before, so I was like, let's give it a shot. And I just love how it ended up going. And then for the rest of the body, I was just like, random fish demon ideas go. Whatever came to mind for an aquatic demon kind of thing, I just threw in there. Some extra eyes, some glowy bits, some fleshy bits. And overall, I'm just super happy with this one. It reminded me why I need to do a Sea Monsters episode sometime in the near future. Hope you all like it as well. Let's take a look. While there are many people in the world affected by a fear of flying, most will willingly step onto an airplane without much concern. But even the bravest of us know that if that plane started to go down, a heavy dose of fear would be surging through us all. Terror Air uses this fear to its advantage. The demon targets small passenger planes, usually flying through turbulent skies. When it's in range of the vessel, staying hidden in the clouds, its body's natural aura will scramble communications, leaving no way for the pilot to warn of the creature's existence or to call for help after the impending crash. Terror Air will then batter the plane from the outside, still trying to remain out of view from the windows, at first. As the passengers grow more and more terrified, it will finally swoop past the glass, letting its prey get fleeting glimpses of its massive scale before slashing through the wings, sending the vehicle into a downward spiral. But then it does something you may not expect. Terror Air will claw into the plane from above, keeping it quickly headed for ground, but will ease its fall just enough so that the crash near the peak of the closest mountain does not kill all inside. If it's done as desired, most will have survived and will eventually, in a near petrified state, stumble out of the broken vessel to see that they're still very far above the ground. Only then will Terror Air fully reveal its form, flying just above the group, its thunderous wings causing winds that may even push some of the survivors off the edge. As it drinks in the swirling fear and confusion from below, it will swoop down, and as so many of Sorieklis's demons do, will begin picking off the group, one by one. It will grab the least terrified person of the group and fly them up over the rest, tossing them from one cloth to the next. As they cry for help, the others will grow more and more horrified, until finally it flies them a little higher up, then drops them. The same fate awaits the rest, and their only hope is to climb down the mountain fast enough to hide in whatever foliage may lay below, or to try to somehow calm their terror and hope that this will make them unappealing enough for the beast to leave them be. Now, I was faced with an interesting challenge when it came to this demon and the previous one, because one is a water demon and one is an air demon, but in the Phobias as Demons series, I've already done a demon that's based on the fear of open water, and a demon that's based on the fear of flying. So all the lore that was coming to mind was just the stuff I'd already written for those ones. What kind of helped me with this one is, first of all, Sorieklis's demons, the dinosaur demons, are kind of focusing more on attacking groups of people, so that helped write the lore differently, but also in the trailer for Jurassic World Dominion, they show a Pterosaur or some kind of similar dinosaur causing a plane crash, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to go with this. So I ended up figuring it out, but it took more thinking than some of my other demons in the past. In terms of the drawing, the thing I knew I wanted to do with this one is draw the Pterosaur demon standing on the ground, which is a weird way to go for a flying dinosaur demon kind of thing, but when I was watching Prehistoric Planet, they showed a lot of footage of pterosaurs walking around just after they're born, walking on the ground before they can actually fly, and the way their wings bend in like 3 or 4 different ways already had kind of a demonic and weird sort of look, and I was just like, that is really cool and weird, and that's gonna make for a really nice demon design. And you remember the time like 3 minutes ago where I said I should always go into a demon drawing with a good concept in mind? With this one, I didn't really. I just knew I wanted to make a kind of monstrous pterosaur, and I still think it ended up turning out really well. And of course, I hope you all agree. Let's take a look at it. An ancient Chinese form of torture called Ling Qi saw people slowly killed by a series of small cuts across their body. It was also known as the death by 1,000 cuts, and a demon that wanders the Chinese forests uses this same method on its prey to induce tremendous bouts of terror. Therizala's reaches nearly 30 feet in length, and its entire body is covered in jagged claws and spikes. It will specifically target travelers wandering through thick woods, where it has a hard time maneuvering due to its size, in an attempt to imbue in its prey the hope that they may be able to escape the demon. But once it has their scent, this is nearly impossible. Therizala's will reveal itself immediately to its prey, shocking them as much as possible in that initial scare, then sprint right for them, trying to lure them into a thick of trees where they think it can't follow. As they get farther and farther in, the creature will just get close enough to give them one small slice of its claws. Then, will let them go. While terrified, the prey will eventually get up the nerve to keep moving and try to get to wherever they think they'll be safe. But the creature will find them and will run at them again, and this time likely get 2 or 3 slices into their prey, early on only targeting areas where they will not acquire life-threatening injuries. This will go on and on, often until the prey gets bold enough or stupid enough to simply make a run for it, even with the creature right on their tail. If they get too close to the edge of the woods, this is when Therizala's will hit them with a crippling blow. Often, it will slice their Achilles tendon, leaving them unable to run or even walk, crawling across the forest floor helplessly. But to let them baste further still in terror, the demon will wander off, returning as silently as it can hour after hour to lay in another set of slices. Often, smarter prey will crawl into a thick of trees once more to try and hide, and only then will they realize that the creature has been toying with them. With its massive claws, it will swiftly and easily cut down the trees around the prey, which it could have done at any other point in the chase. Then, with its maw drooling for the feast, it will finally lay the finishing blow. Wow, this is dark. In the Phobias as Demons episodes, as anyone who's watched those know, I always try to add in one either positive story or one really goofy one that's kind of funny and levels out the tone a little bit, like the peanut butter demon or the demon that was based on the fear of a duck watching you from far away. So I think I gotta try something different with the lore for the last demon after this one. And actually, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the channel, but part of the reason I started ending all of my videos with positive or inspiring notes is because I really like writing horror stories and creepier kinds of episodes, but I wanted to make sure even if I'm doing those, the last thing I'm leaving people with is something positive or uplifting or something that puts them in a more uplifted kind of mindset, not creeped out. Because I still wanted to be able to do episodes like this because they're still fun to do, but, you know, to try and balance it out a little bit more. But anyway, the Therizinosaurus was probably the most requested dinosaur from the last episode in this series, and there's probably a few different reasons for that. One, it's a pretty unique dinosaur. The other is it looks like it's going to be showing up in Jurassic World Dominion, but also probably the main reason is it's got these massive claws. Like, I was barely exaggerating with the claws that I gave this demon, and that was the core idea I went into this one with. It's got really big claws, so let's just give it claws and spikes all over its body. They're going to be everywhere, and that's the main thing about this demon. I also didn't give it teeth, even though a lot of my demon characters, I think giving them jagged teeth is usually a cool addition, makes them a little bit freakier looking. But the Therizinosaurus was either herbivore or omnivore, don't totally remember. Either way, it's not a carnivore. So I was like, okay, let's not go with the jagged, sharp kind of teeth and see if I can still make it freaky looking. I think it still looks good, but, I do really like sharp, jagged teeth. Many demons are made for the express purpose of inducing fear in the world and feeding off it. They don't have souls and often know little more than what they need to cause terror in those they hunt. And yet, even still, in some rare occasions, a demon will turn on its menacing instincts. This happened with one of Sorieklis's demons, Spinsaklion. This beast resides in Egypt, often laying dormant at the bottom of the Nile River, until its hunger stirs. Or at least it did until it met a young boy named Nakia. The boy had only been 8 years old when he was kidnapped. His parents were very wealthy, and the bandits who took him told them to pay a massive sum or their son would be killed. Near Lake Nasser along the river, they waited, fully willing to drown the boy in the Nile if their demands weren't met. And while the 3 kidnappers were fairly ruthless, their current undertaking was stirring up fear in all 3 of them, and Spinosaur could smell it. The demon rose from the depths of the Nile and slowly hunted them all around, swimming through the sands of the desert just as easily as it did the waters of the Nile. The boy had been bound up in the bandits' car, so he could do nothing until the 3 men were all dead. Then, the creature came for him. It could barely smell the boy, as he was giving off almost no fear. It tore open the vehicle and sliced free his bonds, thinking he'd run and it could begin inducing the fear it craved. But the boy stayed. In fact, he was mesmerized by the creature and even moved in closer to it. Even as it tried to screech at him and thrash its claws all about, the boy, who himself was a dinosaur lover, believed this creature had just intentionally saved his life. The boy hugged one of the creature's legs, showing unrelenting love to the beast, and that kind energy changed something in this demon. Now, a decade later, Nokia still returns to that site every few months to spend time with Spinosaur and to continue showing his love and appreciation to the demon that accidentally saved his life. A demon that somehow has not needed to consume a single being since meeting this boy. Oh, that feels a little bit better, having some kind of positive story in there. I feel like this really needed that. I don't know if it's noticeable, but I'm writing/recording this lore a little bit differently from usual. Oftentimes, I'll write all the lore or the whole story for an episode and then record the rest. With this one, I'm writing the first one, then recording, then writing the second one, recording, and so on. Hence me getting through the third one and being like, oh geez, I really need to add something positive into this. And it works canonically because in this series, in my series of doing demon stuff, it's not unprecedented to have a positive or a good demon. In Benny Sharp Saves Christmas from Lots and Lots of Demons, the first Multiverse Tales demon episode that was also a community redraw, Empty Vessel submitted Ralph, a Christmas demon that helped out the demon coalition of... I always mess up what are they? The Demon Coalition of Predator Hunt? No, the Predator Coalition of Demon Hunters. Geez, that's a clunky name. But anyway, the group that the narrator of this series, Mara, used to work with. Ralph teamed up with them. Positive demon, it was there. But anyway, in terms of the design for this one, my main idea going in was I was going to take the sail that runs along the Spinosaurus's spine, and I'm just going to add a bunch of those everywhere, looking kind of like buzzsaws or something, and even have one going through its mouth. I think that's a cool idea and fairly well executed. I had to darken up the sail behind it a bunch to make sure the jaw stood out. And I still think the first demon from this episode has the coolest mouth, but I am also very happy with this one as well. I hope you like a slightly more positive finale, and let's take a look at the last demon. I definitely think this ended up going better than the first round, which is saying something because I like how the first round turned out as well. Which, by the way, if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen the first episode of Dinosaurs as Demons, I'll link it in the cards. Or maybe you want to check out Pokemon if they were in Dungeons and Dragons, because that's one of my favorite stories I've done on the channel in the last little while, and like I said, it's gonna end up getting a sequel at some point too. But I'd also love more suggestions for what else people would like to see turned into dinosaurs or demons or whatever. I mentioned in the last episode possibly doing elemental dinosaurs, but I think elemental demons could be fun too. It could almost be like a tangent from the Phobias as Demons series, and I could do fear of fire, fear of ice, stuff like that. Let me know what you think of that in the comments. And of course, I'm definitely open to doing a third round of this. Maybe this could become a whole series. Let's see what happens. But besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with today is a quote from Dale Carnegie, which is that you should be more concerned with your character than with your reputation. Your reputation is how others see you. Your character is who you are. Other people's perceptions of you is going to be influenced by the way they see other people and themselves and the world, so you'll never be able to control how other people see you, no matter how good or bad you are. So try to focus on how you're being, not how other people are perceiving. I hope that's helpful to someone out there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Monday, which is finally this month's Community Redraw and Multiverse Tale. I'll see you there. Goodbye.